the Hub on Hollywood. I'm James.
I'm Jamie.
And we love movies.
And we're going to be reviewing a movie today, James. What are we reviewing?
So
what did we watch?
we are reviewing the new Pete Davidson, Judd Apatow movie, The King of Staten Island, that is coming out on VOD on June 12th. We were given the chance to get a little screening of it, so we have seen it. We are ready to give our thoughts and our opinions on this.
It was an interesting premise. Story loosely based on the life of Pete Davidson. When I first heard that, I was like, really? Like, he's 23 years old. Like, what possible, extensive life story are we going to get here? So, it is about a boy, or a man, who lost his father as a young boy, who was a firefighter who died, which is similar to Pete Davidson's story, in that he lost his father in 9/11, who was a firefighter. And he sort of has a failure to launch. He struggles to get out of his mother's house, and it's about dealing and coping with the death of the father and how that impacts his life as an adult. Do you have more to add to that?
Yeah, and it's a real movie. Like, the emotions are very gripping, and you could kind of imagine, the way this movie is made, it makes it look like you're watching, just normal people and, things that they go through. And yeah, this is this autobiographical, version of Pete's life. Now, in this movie, he's a tattoo artist, or he's an aspiring tattoo artist, and as you mentioned, he has his growth has been stunted because of the passing of his father. So he lives with his mother, played by Marissa Tomei, and his sister goes off to college. Things are changing, and Marissa Tomei, his mom, begins dating this new guy in her life, Bill Burr, who just so happens to be a firefighter also. And so this is bringing up a lot of past emotions and current emotions that Pete Davidson's character, Scott Carlin, is trying to suppress. And yeah, this is a very real movie, and this was written by Pete Davidson, also as well with Judd Apatow and Dave Cyrus. And I thought it was really good, really well written, and just knowing Pete's experience with mental health disorders, borderline personality disorder, as well as all of his history pulled through this performance, and it's very realistic. And there are many touching moments, and again, a very real movie.
Yeah, I think so. Overall, first impressions, I thought, like you mentioned, it's very believable, very realistic. I think all of the actors did a great job in humanizing these characters. And my favorite part is that, when we're watching the development of these characters over the course of the movie, it's not like, oh, magically they're a completely different person, and now their life is all better and fixed. It's like, no, we're all still the same people, but we have developed to a point where we can now cope with what's happening in our lives, and move on. So it's really, really nice in that way. I can see how this is sort of a project close to Pete Davidson's heart, as far as coping with, like you were mentioning, mental health disorders and doing something with your life. My only minor critiques, James, so much talking. It is a very wordy movie. It's a lot of conversations, but it's in those conversations, in those interactions with all of the people in his life, that kind of gets him off his butt and doing something constructive with his life. I loved Marissa Tomei as the mother, who's kind of just she's lost all ability to deal with her son at this point, and after meeting the new firefighter guy, kind of drives her over the edge. She pushes them both away, and they get pushed together, and I think it's really satisfying towards the end. Like, I think it stretches a bit in the middle, but once you get to the ending where they're working together in the firehouse, it's very satisfying.
Yeah, I could see that. And one thing I like about this movie, though, to kind of add on and to disagree. I don't think there was too. I guess you can argue there were some moments that felt like a lull, but I don't think it was too wordy. I'm not saying you were saying that it was too wordy, but I thought that each character in this movie, even the side characters, were very well developed. And a part of that is that I think because this was written by Pete Davidson, he is able to include more. He knew a lot of these people that are friends of his in the movie, and the characters, and so I think it was coming from a very deep perspective. I don't know, but I think I think this thing was well written, and all the characters, they at the end of this movie, they're not perfect. They haven't solved all their problems, but they're definitely in a better space at the end of the movie than they were in the very beginning of it. And the whole cast was great, as you mentioned. Marissa Tomei, Bill Burr. I love. I'm a big fan of his comedy. But he is able to bring that comedy in this very, dramatic movie, or a dramedy or so.
Yes, exactly, dramedy. It was very entertaining. There were a lot of funny moments to humanize it, to keep you laughing, to keep you interested in the film, and seeing as that is one of Pete Davidson's main coping mechanisms in life, it makes sense, and it's I think a very enjoyable, very real film, and I give it, let's see, how many shirtless Kylo Rens?
Oh goodness!
I'm gonna give it 3.5 to 4 shirtless Kylo Rens. It was enjoyable.
Out of 5? Out of 10?
Out of 5. Out of 5.
Okay. I was gonna say this.
Not out of 10.
Yeah. I'm kidding.
My rating system is odd. You probably have a more normal rating system.
Well, yeah, I guess. I'll still use the 4. I'll use the 1 through 5 rating system. But yeah, I would give it a good solid 4, maybe a 3.8. But just so I think it deserves a 4 on the 4 to 5 James Richter scale list. But yeah, so I recommend watching this movie. It comes out on video on demand this Friday on June 12th, rated R. Again, it's a dramedy. There is, I thought, a very good amount of sprinkled comedy throughout the thing, but this is a very emotional, very heavy movie, and you get a glimpse, once again, of Pete Davidson and what he has been through. So I recommend this movie on demand June 12th.
Absolutely.
Okay, well, for the Hub on Hollywood, I'm James.
I'm Jamie.